things like sort of a comparative religion. Like studying Islam for them was very new. So connecting it to Judaism and Christianity, which I had taught them earlier, and most of my students are Christians, but very few of them, I have maybe one Muslim student a year, know about Islam. So what we would do is we would, this is in the States, we would discuss how these religions are connected and have philosophical discussions about them. So I thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool to do the same thing with students in Bangladesh? But obviously, it would be their perspective. What they know the best is Islam. And some of the things that they taught us in their videos was really, really interesting tidbits about Islam that I didn't know, that even I didn't know, could share with my students. So I thought, here, I'll reverse the process. And what we could do then is we could have this great ongoing thing where we talk about reason versus faith. We could throw Maimonides into the mix and Ibn Rushdi and all those wonderful medieval philosophers, and it would be just a good time. Of course, that was wishful thinking on my part, because while they might have liked learning about that, and of course they would have been interested in learning about that, I realized the language barrier was just too great. And to teach them about Judaism and Christianity, which I had a thought to do, might have been asking too much. So instead, I decided to ask them what they wanted to learn, and largely what they wanted to learn was English language, and about America and American culture, about my life, and about my school. Question?
Is Islam the national religion of Bangladesh?
It is. It is. And since we're there, I'll just say a few words about how Islam is practiced in Bangladesh. This is crucial. It is a very secular Islamic country. A very secular Islamic country, much like this country is a very secular Christian country. It's not like Saudi Arabia. It's not like Afghanistan, where religion pervades every aspect of life, where, in Saudi Arabia, you can't drive if you're a woman. No such thing in Bangladesh. Yes, there are national holidays. I mean, I was there right before Ramadan, which is a national holiday. There are Eids, there are feasts that are national holidays. I actually arrived on a national holiday where everybody goes to the graves of their family members to pray. It's actually a celebration day. And as I said, Islam is the national religion. Friday is the weekend, Friday and Saturday. So the one day that I had off from teaching would be Friday. But people are not, I think, the word that often gets bandied about is fundamentalists. And I have problems with that word, but it has some cachet maybe with you, sort of that religion is pervades everyday life and it's all there is. They're not that way at all. In fact, the people that I met at the school, identified as Muslims, are God-fearing, believe in God, talk about God, but they're very skeptical, and they have lots of doubts as well, and they're into science and history. So it's Islamic, but in a very kind of laid-back way. So that's what I learned there, and I had no idea going in if that would be the case, and indeed it was. I had initially wanted to teach them about comparative religion, but I wound up teaching them, I'm teaching them a poem. And it's a very basic poem, which many of you have learned in English class. I don't know if you were familiar with William Carlos Williams. There's a poem about plums. Anybody? This is just to say, do you know that poem? Anyway, it's a short poem, 3 quatrains, 12 lines. I taught it to them. We had a great conversation about it. I realized that I talk almost exclusively in English idioms. Things like, well, that's water under the bridge, or, we have to wait until the cows come home. Things like that I just say every single day in class and take for granted that people are going to know what it means. I realized they don't know what it means. And if I said water, well, don't worry about it, it's just water under the bridge. You know what that means, but they would be looking for water under a bridge and not understanding what it is that I was talking about. So one of the lessons that I did was on English idioms. And I talked also about basic English conversational language that, again, defies sort of explanation. If you're just hearing it for the first time, you might not understand it. Things like that was what I wound up teaching them. And what I learned immediately was, and I don't know if you can really see, but these kids were so excited about me being there. To them, having an American come to their school was, beyond anything that they could possibly imagine. They kept saying to me, "Why would you come here? This is the middle of nowhere." And it really was the middle of nowhere. I have some shots of the place that I can show you. but they were dumbfounded. They couldn't understand why, because they hold Americans and America in very high esteem. They think that it's the pinnacle of everything, and we don't have to debate that right now. But we just assume that's what they think. And so for an American to come there, to them was just an amazing, astonishing idea. So they would always ask, "Why did you come here?" And then they were just, anything that I would give them, they just absorbed like sponges. They were so thrilled to just have the opportunity to have an American there to talk to. And many of them had never seen an American before. And in the local village, I'll show you some pictures of it and the people that I met. For example, the thrill of having someone like me in that place would draw people out of their houses. And what they would do is they would come and they would just come up to me and just stare. Just like that, 3 or 4 feet away. They wouldn't say anything, of course, because there was no communication, because their English, they didn't have any English, I didn't know any Bengali, and they would just sort of stare at me. Now, of course, initially this is extremely disconcerting for me, because it's not an everyday experience. But it was non-threatening. There was nothing threatening about it. They were just fascinated, and so they would just come look. And people would also, as we were walking, there was one road in the village, one road. And it kind of snaked around, a couple of lakes, a couple of rice paddies. And what you would do at the end of the day is you would kind of just, and I'm not exaggerating here, this is the pace at which you would walk with my friends, because of course, number one, there's nowhere to actually go. There are a few tea shops where you can sit and drink extremely hot and sugary tea, or eat any number of 5 or 6 different varieties of banana. They were always throwing Pepsi, or not, Coke products and 7-Up at me, which I loathed, but they kept forcing me to drink it. And then a matter of breads, but there were tea shop after tea shop, but that was it. There's no certainly no local bar, and movie theaters, no golf courses or anything like that. It's just people's homes and these corrugated steel tea shops where people would sit, smoke, and drink tea. And so you